bought a piano for our family. The minute we got that piano, I thought it was the greatest toy in the world. And I still feel that way today. It does everything. It's a wonderful instrument. And I fell in love with it. And I don't think my parents ever had to ask me to practice. My dad was always playing records of Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller, and I heard Rhapsody in Blue by Gershwin and thought it was great. And so grew up in a household that played a lot of music, but not professional musicians. But yet they really encouraged me and cheered me on. I pretty much always thought that I was going to do something with music. I went to college at Cincinnati Conservatory and Ohio State, a doctorate between Eastman and Ohio State. And then it was time to look for a job, finished my doctorate. So I was reading this journal, and it listed this job in Owensboro, Kentucky. I looked up Owensboro on the map. I thought, oh, it's on the Ohio River. That looks really pretty. And I applied for the job. I thought, I'll go there and I'll stay a few years and then I'll move on and do something else. And I fell in love with Owensboro, and I love Kentucky Wesleyan College, which is where the job was. I'm now finishing my 32nd year here, and I really like it a lot. And one of my favorite things about piano is that it involves me in the whole community. I get to play for school children. I have a program called the Pianist where I take my students in every week and we go play for assisted care facilities and different ones every week and see them smile and play music and have a good time. And music doesn't have any boundaries in terms of politics or religion. Everybody's free to love music regardless of their wealth. Owensboro has a painted piano project where we have old pianos that artists will decorate, and then we have them on street corners downtown. And sometimes on a pretty summer day, I'll just go down and practice on one, and people gather around and smile. We have an annual bridge day where they shut down the Blue Bridge in Owensboro and for 4 hours, and people walk across it and have a good time. And one year they moved a piano out on the bridge, and I got to play over the Ohio River on the Blue Bridge. That's just so cool. The other thing that the piano's done for me is enable me to see the world. I never dreamed I would go to China, let alone go 3 times and be invited back to go again. And I've gone to Europe, oh gosh, many times. If you sit down and play the piano, people just gather around. I was in Prague, in the Czech Republic, and in the airport they have an old clunker upright piano, and it had a sign on it that said, if you can play, sit down and play a tune. And it's, a crowded airport and everybody's kind of grumpy, hoping their plane's on time and all that stuff. And I sat down and I played. I had a lot of time to kill, and I actually kind of wanted to practice. So I sat down and played the solo version of Gershwin Rhapsody in Blue, which is one of my big pieces. And before I knew it, like the whole everybody was gathered around. There were, a couple hundred people just gathered around while I was playing, and they were cheering and everything. I thought, that is so cool in an airport. Most people are going to sit down and play. And here I am playing, and they were like, wow, that's so cool. When I was in China, I was called the Happy American. I guess personality-wise, I'm always happy. I try to be anyway. And I think it's because I'm dealing with what I love all day long. I'm teaching, I'm helping other people, I just have a good time. It's fun. I get to play the greatest toy in the world all day long. So. I think your playing is the sum total of who you are at that moment in time in your life. I used to get frustrated when teachers in college, I would play something that was correct and it was beautiful, and it was, I did all the expression and everything, and they'd say, that's great, when you play that in 20 years it'll be better. And I thought, what are they talking about? How's it going to be better in 20 years? But what I didn't know at the time was in those 20 years you suffer, you have joys, you have sorrows, you love, you lose, you whatever, you have so many experiences in life, and it really changes your whole makeup of who you are, so you have more depth in your character and your personality. I'm going to be different. My playing will be different from other people's because I am different from other people. And I've had different experiences and different joys and different sorrows, just as they have too. I just go for it. There's a passion in my playing that people might not like it, or they might be crazy about it, but it's got to be me, and I go all the way. I don't sort of play. If I'm going to play the piano, I'm going to play the piano. I'm a very emotional person, so my playing is quite emotional. I get up actually at 4 every day. The alarm goes off. I'm a morning person, fortunately, and I practice usually from 4 to 6:30, 4 to 7 at my house, and then I come to work, and by the time evening comes and I go home, sometimes I'm just really tired. I'm like, no. But sometimes I practice whether I'm tired or not in the evening. It's like, gotta get this music learned. So yes, I practice every day. And it's a joy. I look forward to practicing. You can always get better, and that's half of the fun. I've played thousands of performances my whole life. I hope I always keep growing. When I stop learning or stop wanting to learn, that's when I need to quit. I love Bach. Beethoven's up there too. I've been to both their graves. Bach's is in Leipzig, Germany, and Beethoven's is in Vienna's, and put flowers on their graves, and it was kind of moving. I'm like, I know it sounds weird, these are dead composers, but still, I've spent a lot of time on their music, and I feel like I've learned a lot about their soul through delving into their music. So I love the piano composers like Chopin and Liszt and Schumann that have the wild fingers and the really cool music. I love that stuff too. I've always been a church musician, organist, pianist, music director. So I developed this concert series. We just had a concert a week ago that raised $4,000 for homelessness, and that just, to me, is one of the cool things about music, and it makes a difference in the community, not only making people happier, but actually feeding them and helping them with material things. One of the coolest honors I ever got, the city of Owensboro named me the Grand Marshal of their Christmas parade in 2014. For a musician to be the Grand Marshal, usually it's a community leader or somebody that they're making a big difference. They're building bridges or they're building new city centers or whatever. But as a musician, I thought that's really cool that the city recognizes that a musician can make a real impact on the city, and to be driven on this float and have people cheering and calling my name and everything. And it shows how much the community embraces music. Owensboro right now is in a wonderful place because we have a great symphony orchestra, we have wonderful arts organizations, and the Kentucky Arts Council is really important in funding a lot of these great projects in the community. So people all over the city, again, regardless of economic level, can hear great music and have access to fabulous educational programs and enrichment programs. So I'm really happy to be part of that team. In winter of 2010, I slipped on a piece of black ice and I fell before I even knew I was falling, and I broke my upper arm. And I was really in bad shape. I couldn't play the piano. I was very worried that it was career ending. And fortunately, the arm healed actually better than it was before the break. But I got literally hundreds of get well cards from people in the community. People I didn't even know that said, I saw your name on the prayer list, I heard you broke your arm, and I heard you play at something or other, and I hope your arm gets well. I'm just so sad to hear about this. What a community to do that. And it shows how the arts really affect us in ways we don't even think about. So if anyone badmouths Owensboro anytime, or I think, if I broke my arm in New York, nobody would care. But in a community like Owensboro, they care. And that's pretty special. So I think a lot of Owensboro. I think a lot of Kentucky. I see the difference the Arts Council makes. I see the difference that all the arts organizations are able to make in the community. Things like that we don't even measure a lot of times, or that we can't put a finger on it. And the great thing about the arts is that they splinter out into the community in ways that a lot of times are not tangible, but that are maybe even greater than the tangible things that we measure. 6 weeks after first lesson, I'm playing a little ditty in the recital, and my mom and dad got me a silver charm bracelet with a grand piano on it. And then at Christmas that year, I got a little piano figurine that I still have of Santa Claus playing the piano. And every year I just get little things, and my friends, my relatives would know, oh, that's Diane, she plays the piano, so we'll get her a little piano something or other. My colleagues get me, piano pin or, something like that. People started giving me things. When I was in college, I got 2 coffee cups. I don't drink coffee, I'm high on life, but 2 coffee cups that had music on them, and then I just started finding other ones, and it evolved, and now I have over 300. They sort of are overtaking the house. So now every time I travel anywhere, I try to find a little miniature piano, and I get really excited when I do. When you see my house, it's hysterically funny because it just looks like a piano museum. My parents, who really inspired me when I was 6 and have always been my cheerleader, they always sat the same place in the audience when they would come to recitals. They would sit in the 3rd row on the end. My folks have gone a lot of places to hear me play, but now they just aren't physically able to travel. But we still kind of joke on the phone before performance, and like, look for us in the 3rd row. We'll be there in spirit and everything. And it still means a lot to me.